Cyber Fairy. You may also know me as Christina Martini, the author of Avery Marie and the Crown of Elfae. It's an epic fantasy book that's available now out on Amazon and Audible. And yeah, so today I'm with Evan, the wizard Evan, and he read the book. Well, he listened to it because maybe he has some dyslexia. Do you want me to cut that out? Anyway, and so we listened to it, and so we wanted to give you a review today. So Evan, who maybe Elliot was kind of based on, what did you think of the book? Scooch in.
I found the book to be very adventurous and filled with fantasy. It was like reading something out of a video game kind of story or something like that. It's just completely otherworldly.
I've heard, yeah, my writing's very visual. So give me a rundown without giving anything away. What is the book about? Remember, you have to stay in frame.
The book is about this princess, Avery Marie, and
from the Sealy Courts.
From the Sealy Courts, and she starts the journey kind of as a rambunctious kind of teenager spirit and kind of running away from her duties in the Sealy Courts. And she's trying to run away from her responsibilities, and it ends up just blowing up in her face, and all the things that she's trying to run away from end up catching up to her. And but while she's on this journey, she's exploring herself and the world and the people that live in it, and she's growing, and I think is part and due about her journey to learn about not running away from the things that scare her or the things that put her in her way, and instead to kind of stand up for the things that she loves and cares about.
I didn't even realize that. Anyway, so let me tell you what the book's actually about. Basically, she runs away from a marriage, and that you can't do that in the courts, right? You'll be killed or something like that if you do that. So she's on the run, and she meets this half elf named Elliot, and he's like, okay, let's go together. We have a bigger thing to focus on. There's actually a war coming to Fairy, and they make their way to this kind of infamous pixie camp to find, solace and stuff like that. And they learn that something is taking over Fairy. This kind of alien force has made its way into Fairy somehow. And it's kind of seeped into human minds through technology. And so what did you think about that kind of sci-fi aspect in the fantasy book?
I liked how it what is the place called? The Elfae?
Fairy, and then there's Elfland, and then Elfae is a merger later.
So it's kind of, I found it interesting how Elfae kind of exists parallel to our own modern world, and there's ways that you can kind of dip in and out from New York City, Central Park, and you find yourself in a tree and you find yourself into Elfae. I found that kind of very interesting, and
yeah, there's portal. There's ways to get into the realm.
It just triggers all that fantastical, childlike,
fantastical, yeah,
ideology
fanciful.
That you just there's magic everywhere, and so that book kind of reignites that. And as for how it ties in with the technology, it's kind of just a bit of the evil is kind of just a bit more of a metaphor about how we in our lives are getting more disconnected from nature. And I guess the whole idea that the struggle in Elfae is
it's a metaphor for that, 100%.
Metaphor as
that our minds are getting taken over by this force, right? AI, and it's where is it coming from?
Whereas in the book, it's a literal evil force that's coming in.
It's a literal interdimensional entity that's trying to seep in and into the realm.
So along with all those different ideas, and I found there were certain tidbits of magic and trinkets and just part of the things that made Elfae so magical was really thought-provoking little it's hard to express, but like it's not, it kind of made me think of like how the moving staircases in Harry Potter. They have these portal poppers or balls they throw on the ground to create portals, and there's just these little nuances of like
there's a lot of magic and spells and stuff.
but it was also like kind of creative in how it interacts with the world, and so for me I found that very fascinating. I was just wanting to learn more.
Because in the next book there's more magic, there's more detailed magic, but anyway, it's not out yet. So when we were talking about this before, Evan was pretty blunt, and he was like, there's a lot of sex in the book and there's a lot of drugs in the book. Do you want to expound upon that? He said it was just basically a drug adventure, a fairy porn drug adventure. And I mean, that's the kind of books I like to read and write, apparently, but your thoughts, good sir?
Well, I think it's all part of Avery's journey as she's discovering herself and becoming more mature. But there's definitely a lot of references of different types of drugs, and
but they're fairy drugs. They're magical drugs. Like, I made up these drugs. They're amazing.
And
there's definitely like a connotation to weed, right? Like, they smoke fairy grass.
And
and they huff things. They huff like some pixie powder. They smoke hookah. Yeah. They drink lots. They drink lots of wine.
But there's definitely a lot of risque activities and parties that
what did you think of the sexual experiences? Like, what did you think of the sexual interactions? Did you think they were romantic and lovely, or
erotic? Very erotic.
It's a love story. Ultimately, it's a love story, but it's also a story with lots of drama and war and fighting.
Oh yeah, I found myself yelling at Avery a few times, where I was just like, "Oh, you stupid girl."
What did you like the most about this book? What was the most magical about this book?
I like the way that the world was described and built. Like the first few chapters, as you're describing the different parts and the nations. Honestly, you could have probably just spent like 3 chapters in just exposition and stuff. But that's just the stuff that gets my.
See, I love the drama. I love the love and the passion and stuff. And you like the the Lord of the Rings descriptions of a flower for 3.
When you talked about pages. How the forest was like looping, where you get lost in amongst the trees and you might find yourself way back, and there's just certain. You gave me that idea.
He gave me the idea of the world being like this kind of like cylinder folding in on itself, like this portal, like this interdimensional like pocket within our realm. So I put that in the book, and people are like, "Oh, that's so cool," and that was his idea. So anyway, what did you not like about the book? You have to stay on camera. What did you not like about the book?
What I didn't like about the book.
He wanted it to be more detailed, but he also listened to it on audiobook. When you read a book and you actually absorb it, it's a much more engrossing experience.
This is the review of your book, not the review of me here. Okay. What did I not like about the book?
Yes.
What didn't I like about the book? I didn't like how Elliot was treated. I thought he did everything right, and he did nothing but love Avery, and she still went for his. Like, what is wrong with her?
Okay, we're gonna take that out because that's a spoiler. We're gonna edit that out.
Bullshit. It's fucking bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, if it's causing you emotion, so that's good writing. You know. Any final thoughts? Why should people buy the book or listen to the book?
I thought as far as the audiobook went, it was a nice break from reality. It played out smoothly and just flowed very nicely. And honestly, I was surprised when it was over, because it
flows. Yeah. It's a magical adventure in another world. It is really detailed. I do think of, I do really plan out my books, and yeah, I would love for you to read it or listen to it and write me a review, because I am going to be publishing the book number 2 once I finish editing, and I just want to continue the world, and I would love to bring more of the lands of the Fae to Earth, because I think they're really special and they have a lot of magic that, we can learn from. So thank you so much, and I hope that you read the book and have a great day.